second that.
All right, so this meeting is being recorded by the Board of Assessors. If any other person is present or doing the same, notify the chair at this time. Calling the meeting to order at 4:07. And the roll call of members
Randall Austin, present. Chuck Green, present.
and Jim Geisman present. Review and approval of previous minute.
Motion to approve.
Okay, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Public comment. No discussion or comments will be entertained.
It's an
Unless
item.
it looks like requested upon by the chairperson of the board.
I move we defer the opening of public comment until the end of the meeting as we have no public here now.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Okay, where we go? Well, glad to see you're here.
See you.
But you would run out without saying goodbye.
Yes, but this means we can't give you any action items, right? Sure.
Yeah,
You just won't do them. You're Friday. Okay,
You think
Well, I
we'll
mean,
get through that
congrats
long
on-
list?
taking over a not as good city, but,
Okay, that's
You're going to Montague?
Monty, yeah, second place.
and the commute, I don't know why you took on that kind of commute, honestly.
But it's I crossed a bear.
Must have tripled.
Everything's better than Boston.
For 5 minutes.
Hour and 15 minutes, I see the building the whole time.
Yes.
An hour and 15 minutes, you see what?
Saw the building the whole time.
Oh,
As you're driving.
As you
just like-
slowly make a
just
way in
see
a
it
train.
there.
yes. Well,
Did you drive in all the time? Oh, no, you just teed it.
Really, no parking.
okay, on to new business. Office update on the rollout of WebPro on our website, tool the public can use to search.
It's still not on the website yet. I know that we're very close to the finishing stages and was
Right.
contacted by Patriot about it. And it's sort of like he kind of forgot, I think. I don't know, but also Fernando was out for a couple days and that was right around that same timing. So we should hopefully have it.
Okay.
But before our next meeting, available on the website.
Okay, and you got my email that there are no size designations, so you can search by lot size. They're all zeros.
Oh, okay. Yes, I did.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, I think we'll want to make sure that we can sort on every field.
Well,
I mean, every field that.
that they allow sorting,
They allow,
just to
yeah.
be that that's the way it is and
Yeah.
you know, they're probably not gonna upgrade it, or I don't know if there's any additional functionality that we could purchase or something like that. I think it's the way it is. And I would think that if they had it there as an option, that it would work.
Yeah, well.
But
Okay.
they can give us some better instructions if there are limitations to what you do.
Okay. If you want to forward on my email to you, to them, and say what gives, feel free. Okay, update as to the status of adding building permits onto PRC property record.
It's same thing. We're waiting for that permit module. The web pro is getting done first, so as far as I know, that is in the works and they're hopefully making progress and moving toward our goal of having that up and running.
Update on Munis and test run.
The test run for the bills was completed. And then we went over to live and I basically been working on it and just was able to complete it and turn it over to Mandy. The real estate on Monday and personal property yesterday, and she was able to complete everything and get it over to the biller. And they should be going out on time and everything is good and we're ahead of schedule. So it all worked out. It was a lot of work and I was, you know, basically 5:20 until last week or even on Monday, I was still talking to support people.
Yeah.
Because the test environment didn't have all of the flaws that the live had. Different situations that we had to troubleshoot and figure out. And after a lot of manual entry, we got everything in there and looking the way we wanted it to. So we did have the CPA situation where there were accounts that weren't getting charged with CPA, and that got straightened out now and double checked, and the accounts that weren't getting it are getting it, and the ones that were getting only partial are getting the full amount now, so that is straightened out. As far as I know, from the way it appears now, so. Yeah, it's cost us about $5,000 a year. But it fixes it.
Well,
And so that is done. Yeah, and the bills are out, or they are
going,
correct and going to be going out. Yes.
Thank you, Randy.
I think you crushed it.
You know, it was just a lot. I
Wonderful.
learned a lot because I had to redo the whole process so many times
yeah,
about how to do it and the different way the system operates, and you know, different things that key you, oh, are you on the right step of the process or not?
yeah. Did you record those, or document them so that we have
Document what?
the process?
It's the process, you know, there's instructions and there's already a manual.
Oh, okay,
And it's just more of me absorbing all of it and having it make sense finally,
okay.
because it's very complicated even with the manual.
And with respect to putting out the word about Munis to MAAO, I'm still happy to do that. But if I understand you, we're okay for now.
Yeah, we're okay, but you know, just a general thing like, you know, how did everyone do with their billing? Who has Munis? And how did everyone do with their billing? And then maybe we'll get some feedback
Yeah.
to find out that the similar challenges that we had were felt really it was something wrong with their system and everyone had to deal.
Got it.
And see, you know, how widespread is some of the stuff that we're dealing with. And it's, you know, just everyone has to deal with it, or it's just a couple of isolated situations.
Okay. All right, so much for office update. Excise weeks.
All right.
Before we move on, how are we going to replace Adam, the irreplaceable?
Well, we can't start advertising until after his last day.
Okay,
And so, yeah, we have everything, you know, we'll just rerun the same ad. It's the same position that we're looking to fill, the same job description, and the same requirements. So it's just a matter of time of waiting for to turn the page and start looking. So
okay,
If you remember last time, I had a buddy at the hospital who I was trying to get to apply.
yes,
I think I might be able to get him to apply this time. But just to be fair, he's got no assessing experience. He's just a business, you know, he was a business major, finance. So,
well, we're hoping that someone with experience is going to apply.
yeah,
And
if you don't, I know a good guy who's just a
well, you
finance
know, I
guy.
thought that there would be no one out there, and we got Adam. And so I'm under
Worth
the same
trying.
impression, and hopefully I'll be surprised again.
Surprised and
If not,
delighted.
then that's what we're gonna have to do. We'll have to start training our own qualified personnel. So that's all we're gonna have to,
yeah,
you know, that's what we're gonna have to do.
Well, I'll get him to apply when the time is right.
okay. Excise weeks.
Next 5 weeks, okay, I have a few different batches, so I didn't have these prepared last week. But they have them now. So
Yeah, right.
we've got a couple extra batches and we're straightening out exactly
Is,
how we're handling them.
18.
And so there should just, we're gonna strive to have just one instead of multiple, but it's just the nature of the way things have been going.
It's fine. It is fine.
So at one point I'd made a comment in our meeting about how I was concerned about the finance department. And this is back in like January, I think. And the people in the collector's office and accounting. You know, I was concerned about what was going to happen right now. And I'm happy to say that, you know, they it came together with a lot less stress than I thought it was.
Matured and seasoned
And they really, you know, in the meantime, we did get some training and it worked out, you know, especially like with Mandy, the consultant was kind of doing things and I was concerned. It's like, okay, but she didn't get the chance to see.
Mhm.
But we did going through the test run and everything. And, even though the consultant was still involved, Mandy got the opportunity to really dig in and know.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even she told me that as she was going through, she was kind of doing it, taking his instructions. She was like, well, wait a minute, because the manual says this and kind of, so picked up on it really quick. And,
So you're saying she did a good job
did a
and
good job.
we're happy to have her.
Yeah, and all of those people down there, they really, I'm impressed with, what they've had to put up with and that they're still here and not doing well and excelling.
Not, there are three new ones.
Yes, I'm talking about Mandy, Jennifer, and Catherine.
Oh, okay.
Impressive, huh?
Okay.
It's a good deal.
Yeah. Should have flushed. Chapter land application notarized.
I was wrong. I thought it needed to be notarized, but then when we had our notary look at it, she's like, oh, this is already signed and blah, blah, blah. So it was,
It's fine.
All done.
it's wrong and I promptly admit it.
And with respect to clause 18, as you all saw, I did an update to it.
Yeah.
And I think it aligns with the
The IGR. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I did notice that a lot of those other things that I was concerned with, I thought were good to have
Yeah.
in there, just as a further breakdown or included.
I motion to adopt the as updated hardship policy for clause 18.
Okay. I wrote it, so I don't think.
May we have a second, Randy?
The one thing, my one, anything that makes me reluctant is that it doesn't say anything about a time frame.
Time-
This is available and you know what I mean? It's like a 3 year, like with the.
This is not the deferment.
I know it's not.
Oh.
But I still think that that's a wise policy. Because I don't think that anyone should be on permanent hardship or that we should be stating that, yeah, just come on in.
That it can only be given for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 consecutive years.
And-
I think that, yeah, I know it's not, it was part of the 18A IGR, but I feel that it should apply in 18 also.
Yeah,
Because that's sort of what we've had and what we put it a stop to is that we have applicants that have been getting it for almost 10 years. And okay, you can't be on permanent hardship. If you're permanently in this situation, then you need to change your situation so it's something that you can afford and that you don't have to depend on everyone in Greenfield to suck up $1,000 worth of your tax bill every year.
but every year it has to be reapproved, right?
Right.
So and the exempted amount is at the discretion of the assessor.
Okay.
So you've had it for 10 years. That's long enough. You're off.
And that's why I'm saying we should have something that says, you know what I mean, that gives them the idea that, okay, this, it doesn't say anything in here about a time. It
Okay.
just says that there's a hardship available.
And
that's why I'm saying,
the hardship must be permanent.
right,
I'm not arguing with you, and I like the idea of the city getting the money back. And
on the deferral. Because we don't get the money back on this, that.
I'd like to see us get the money back on the financial hardship as well.
Right, and so that's not the nature of it. And so what we would do is deny that and then do the deferment instead, deny an 18 and then recommend an 18A.
Okay.
But I just think that there should be some mention of a time limit so that people understand that there's a time limit involved. And that it's just not, oh, here's this thing I can apply for every year.
Okay. And let's see, it does say,
I mean, even. if it
and
doesn't-
renewed annually, okay. And so then, the financial hardship must be permanent, but the exemption is reviewed every year.
That still doesn't.
To a
say-
maximum of 3 years.
Yeah, to a max, yeah, that's what I want, is some language that says it's not indefinite.
Okay, is it 3 contiguous years or on, off, on?
Well, I suppose that if I had a hardship and I broke my leg and couldn't work or whatever, so an extreme situation happened, and then there was a different extreme situation that happened to me a couple of years later, after I was on my feet and I could afford everything for a couple of years, that, yes, I would entertain something like that in that type of situation. But if it's just, okay, well, I'm gonna, not get it 1 year and then I'll get it for 3 more years again. No, like I said, I just don't feel that the nature of our program should be, a free ride for someone, that can't afford to live in their house if they don't get it.
Okay,
Because if you're in that situation, then you should be looking to get something that you can afford
okay,
and change your situation, taking a border or whatever. Again, I don't know.
okay.
And I don't want to be insensitive, but I also, I want to be, I feel that it's fair to the people of Greenfield, to have them not supplementing someone's tax bill for such an extended period of time.
Okay, I'm thinking after this financial hardship must be permanent, but exemption is limited to 3 years. And it is already reviewed.
Should we motion to approve with that exact?
I will, yeah, I was just gonna say, I'll make a motion to approve that as amended.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Okay, and I'll take out all the track changes and add that phrase as, but exemption is limited to 3 years.
Thank you. All right, I want to just mention something at the end of new business here,
Sure.
which is just a notification. No,
not
it's a good one. No, I can't. Well, I guess I could, but no.
I do want to talk to, okay, go ahead.
So remember that rental survey thing?
Yes,
It's done.
yes, I saw that you just sent the email.
Yeah, well, and it's supposed to come from Aaron down to you, but I thought I would shortcut it. So there's both the report, which is only 3 pages, but very good 3 pages. It's very nice to read it. It's very good. I like it. Sarah did the work and wrote the report and is one of our council people.
And is that the person that went out and,
Or went out?
hit the
Yes.
road?
Sarah ended up being the person who went, our city council person is the one who actually went door to door to door.
Did she get reimbursed for that effort?
Yeah, I think it was a very small, the entire grant's like $2,000 or
Well,
something.
at least she got something for doing it, because that was,
Lots.
good for her. Yeah, I mean, that was
Well,
a
she's
lot.
young, has
Yeah.
energy, But anyway, super kudos to her for,
Yes.
and by the way, I know we're not electioneering, but just as a notification, she is running for her council position.
At large? Is she at
I think
large?
it's an at-large, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Because she was appointed. Anyway, so the report is done. You have the link to it, but you'll officially get it through Aaron. And it had some very interesting stuff, including, there's also the actual data. So I certainly have access to the actual data. If you have trouble with the link or whatever, let me know and I can do magic with it. But the point is that, as you'll read in the report, there are quite a few multifamilies that are not listed as such in our assessing database.
Good.
More than 0, quite
Yeah.
a few. And she thinks there's even more than that because she only went and visited places that were in our database.
Right.
So she saw a lot of other ones, especially like on Chapman. In fact, she delineated which streets have all the multifamilies. There's like 5 streets.
Mhm.
And yeah, so it's a really excellent report.
And was that also, I know that you wanted to do the postcards to get.
We only got 16 responses.
Yeah, okay.
So I have all 16. But
But
it's
she wasn't asking people, well, how much do you pay in rent?
the survey that they could optionally do. That was the question on them. So she got 16 responses for that,
Okay.
which is
Yeah.
not, yeah, it's not
0
0, but but anyway, so yeah, that might help us a little, but more to the point, there's all these multifamilies that we don't know about.
Right.
And as she says in the report, I mean, there's more work to be done. But now that we know there's work to be done, maybe your successor will go walk those streets and.
We're gonna have to work with the building department. If there are.
That was-
that we are.
Exactly.
Identified as multifamily.
They better get on their
If we are having a
job.
Single family, then we're gonna, Mark Snow and I are gonna be having a conversation about how we're gonna address that.
So that report is specifically addressed to you, us, the building department and the health department. Because it sounds like all three, but especially them.
Have a stake in it, in the results, right?
Yeah, there's definitely, like you said, there's a lot of homework for the building and health departments, apparently.
Along those lines, do you need a business certificate to be a landlord? Seems to me that's a business.
It's not. Not a business.
Being a landlord is not a business?
No.
Depending on the circumstances, no.
Okay, well, okay. I'm just a question. Also, let's see, my term runs out this year. Chuck's term
Got
runs
2 more
out
years.
as 2 years.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna run again.
Yes, you are.
and Another person will be running, presumably we'll have a 3-person. board.
Because there's 2 positions open.
Right.
Yep,
You're gonna run to
Fill
it's
one.
running.
fill one, yeah.
But what that does is that leaves 2 and then 2 3s. And what I'm gonna do,
What do you mean by 2 threes?
I think the board ought to be staggered.
But it's not a choice. It's in the charter.
I understand what he's saying. It should be staggered so that someone comes up every year.
Right.
And that 2 people aren't running, there's not 2
Exactly.
positions available. It's usually, and that's what I think it is, it says it's a 4-year term.
Yeah, it's 4-year
But
term.
It's usually it's 3 and you have 3 assessors and then there's an assessor running every year.
I think the charter says what it says.
Right, and that's,
I'll take a look at what it
yeah,
says.
Yeah.
because the charter is in control.
That's
And
right.
it would be a big.
We
deal
don't get to
change.
make any of those
But
choices.
let's, yeah, and we could try and change.
I think when Jim gets reelected, I think we should have his term be 97 years.
I don't know if the changes to the
I should
charter
move
that
forward.
brought about the new board member might have some additional language in it.
I'll check.
But now that it's in there, now that we have established that, maybe it's time to, if we do have a 4-year term, think about whatever we have to do to change it so that it could be, like you're saying.
Yeah,
it's
elected in a more staggered way. Yeah,
Yeah, and my intention would be to resign after a year. And then there'd be an appointment for the remaining 2 years.
I don't know.
but we just don't do that.
Well, I believe it ought to be staggered, and how we can pull that off,
We can start staggering it after your next term is over.
no, I'll be staggering by the time I.
So that's what he's gonna say, is that it will be staggered when you leave after a year?
Yeah, that would be the intent.
Yeah, okay.
Whether,
Do that.
Don't lose that runoff election.
Yeah, let's not. Let's wait and see.
Okay, I will,
And
You understand
To
what
the
I'm-
charter and see, yes, I do, I understand what
Yeah.
you're saying. Well, let's look into the charter and see that, and maybe if it is saying 4 years, that we should propose now that we have a change to the number of board members. That maybe we should change the number of years in the term too. I don't know if it would take another change to the charter or how it could happen, but it does make sense. And that's how I started in Montgomery, I was elected board member and we all had, whose year is it to run?
right,
And so one board member was running every year. And then you didn't.
I just don't like the idea of you resigning before my term is up. I'm not pro that.
well, I think before I'm talking to you guys about that, it is an idea that occurred to me. How it actually works, I don't know, and whether it is in conflict with the charter.
We'll see what the charter tells us to do.
We'll start there.
Okay. Okay, so anyway, the rental registry thing, it's out there.
Yeah, and good information that we're gonna be able to get out of.
Yep.
And do we have any other new business? No. Old business, the Ways and Means exemption proposal. That has,
Well, for new business, I suppose, under new business, we have the warrants that we need to sign.
Okay.
This is for the personal property and CPA. And
Take one, I'll take the other.
I think there might be two in that one. You'll have to flip over. Because that one's for real estate and CPA. And then one is for personal property. And then it's just, it has the backup.
Okay.
To confirm the amount.
This one only appeared to have one.
Yeah, that one has two.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's the personal property has one and the real estate has two because real estate and CPA are linked.
So we got 1.8 million out of personal, personal property.
Nice. Better than zero.
And that one form of list that you got back, what did it look like? Did it look okay?
Yeah,
I
I
figured,
just sent it on to, what do you call it? Whoever takes care of them. Sorry.
maybe-
RRC?
The people that became. Yeah.
Okay. So Ways and Means exemption proposal update?
We didn't hit fiscal 26, did we?
Don't think so.
I don't know, did you get a chance to talk to the mayor?
I did not talk to the mayor, but I did talk to Aaron.
Okay.
So, I mean, the mayor has to pass on.
Well, I think that we should keep pushing. Because before you know it, fiscal 27 will be here.
I know.
So that's why wait, let's get it in place as soon as we can.
Yeah.
We just gotta keep nagging.
It made me sad actually, because a friend of mine lives a street over. It turns out that he got a demand letter for his house from the city. And guess who's getting charged 8%? And it's terrible, you know.
But in all
So-
of these cases, I wonder how they happen. He
Well,
gets a demand letter, which means he hasn't paid taxes for a couple of
That's
years.
right. I know exactly how it happened. But
Okay, well, that's a separate conversation.
it is a separate conversation. But I'll just say that 8% is
8%.
not fair. It's not cool at all.
Well, I don't think it's intended to be cool,
It's just.
but it may be a little too
Whole
hard.
process, because, you know.
It really does.
You know, another look needs to be taken at it and it
Yeah.
has to be.
And
Maybe.
it's mostly in the collector.
Yeah,
It's,
Yeah.
and there's all this stuff. Well, the whole Mitch and Joan and the tax taking and all that really revealed a lot of the bureaucracy stuff that makes it harder for people. You know, the way that
Mhm.
it's all done by these mailings, and if you don't do the right thing with the right mailing at the right time, and people by their very nature, they're not getting these mailings.
And they're not getting a heads up either.
No. So it's anyway,
It's a difficult subject.
yeah, but it's not an assessing problem. It's a collections problem, really. The only thing we can do is do this stuff that we're talking about here in the individual exemptions
Well, and
to make sure that
I don't,
Think
even
so.
though it's a finance issue, I mean, we're in the finance department and we do touch this thing. We generate the tax bills that for one reason or another are not paid. And it seems to me that we can bring the issue to the table. even though-
we can bring it to the table,
That's what-
but it's not something we can change or fix.
No, well,
What we can do, what we kind of have proposed to do anyway, is get notified of when people are in that situation and then start like, telling them, hey, here's everything that we can do to help. I mean,
Right.
even, what is it, Joan and Mitch, is it?
Yeah,
And from what I've heard now, they're living elsewhere because the home is in such a state of disrepair.
oh, I haven't heard that. I do drive past it.
And
quite-
so the value on it is probably not accurate.
I'm,
So I'm
believe
gonna
that.
go over there on my own. I'd rather go over there with them.
yeah.
To
yeah,
make an adjustment, you know?
yeah,
And so that, okay, you're getting behind in your taxes, but you know, it's a reasonable amount that you're getting behind. You're not being overcharged. And that I think is what's going on. If the house is in such a state of disrepair that they're no longer allowed to live there. And so that's one of the things that I want to, you know, get out and do. I'd rather do it with them in conjunction with them as opposed to do it and then tell them about it. So I don't know if I have their, I'm sure someone must have their contact information in the building.
yes.
Yeah, so something I want to do before we get to like the actuals, so that, you know, the amount that they're being charged for fiscal 26 is going to be, you know, I don't have to wait for them to file an abatement.
I'm gonna motion that the board resolves that Chief Assessor Randy Austin is got his heart in the right place.
Yeah.
Is it here?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Jessamine?
I'm not on the board, but I'll second it.
No, really, Randy, that's really good. I mean, that's exactly what this town needs.
Yeah, because when people are in that situation, a lot of times they're embarrassed and they don't, you know, it's something that they're not comfortable with. And that's why I think that they get into, okay, there's 2 years because they know that they can't deal with it and they're just afraid to even open the letter because they don't want to see and they don't want to know. Because, okay, I can't, you know, well, I'm still dealing with whatever situation. And so the least that we can do is try and, you know, be sensitive to that and make sure that we're doing things properly and not falsely inflating the amount of debt that they're getting into, you know, because of their pride.
But that has a vicious cycle element to it. You can't pay your taxes, so you let the house go to hell. And then you get it revalued at a lower valuation.
And I had someone recently say that to me on the phone. I said, okay, you know, it sounds like you're telling me your place is in a state of disrepair. You know, if I come over and do an inspection, I can, oh, you can't do that. No, I'm talking to the bank right now. And, you know, so, okay, they don't want me to have a true. It's like, okay, I didn't bother saying, well, they're going to send someone out. If they give you any financing, they're going to send someone out to look.
Yeah.
So regardless of what my value says, they're going to be making their own appraisal. And let's see what that comes out at. And so, yeah, it's a tough situation and all we can do is try and educate people and
Yeah.
try and keep it up.
But I think the idea of us being notified that people are in arrears so that we can.
Yeah, start taking
the equivalent
action.
of financial counseling.
That and doing these exemptions and getting the
Yeah.
tax rate lowered or the interest rate lowered and it's not just that your heart's in the right place, but as elected representatives, the two of us, I mean, that was part of my platform. I don't know about yours, was we're going to try and help people stay in their homes. And so this is exactly what we're talking about. I mean,
Yeah.
part of that is making sure that in the assessing area that we assess things correctly, right? That's a big part of people staying in their homes. But the other part is if they're having financial hardships, getting the hardship policies right, so we can help where it's appropriate. And to your point about the process and working with the collector to see what we can do there. So those are all parts of fulfilling the promises that we were making when we try to get elected.
We're politicians. We lie. No. But no. I think
Right.
you're right. I think that's
I mean-
the right spirit to have in town.
Oh, and that was the mayor also, that was part of her platform. Let's keep people in their homes.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. All right.
So
Okay.
in some cases, there's not much we can do, but whatever we can do, we should try to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Okay, and I had some notes from last time. We were talking about GCC and when we should do another public education. When is a good time for that? Is that September?
Yeah, probably early September would be the best.
Okay. All right, and also, I think the deck that I did needs to be revised.
Mhm.
And what would you prefer? Should we get together and revise I guess that doesn't make sense because that would be a formal.
That'll be a public meeting.
Yeah,
Right.
so maybe the thing is, Karen, you'll send out the deck to,
The attachment to us individually,
yeah,
and we can all have our input and then bring it all back at a meeting and talk about it.
Sure.
Send what out? What is it?
the educational deck that was prepared for the GCC educational session.
Yeah, we did a class at GCC
Okay.
and there was a PowerPoint that was made.
Oh.
So that's,
Oh,
yeah, I'm
the
sure that we have a
Oh, okay.
copy of it somewhere.
When we say deck,
God.
Yeah, I
short
did.
for slide deck, short for PowerPoint presentation. That's Jim's former career slang
Yeah.
out.
Deck,
Oh,
over, slide.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that is it. No other business.
We do have some stuff, some abatements for personal property that we need to go into executive session for.
Okay,
Okay, and we still have no public. So, I move that we do not do public comment as we have no public.
I will second.
okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
And I move, now, remind me again, do we close the meeting and then go in exec, or do we go in exec and after exec, we close it off? I move we go into executive session.
Okay, I will second.
all right,
All in favor?
agree.
Aye.
Okay.